It's very hot. Being so close to the equator and out in the Pacific Ocean, it is very humid. Growing up on the East Coast, I thought I knew what humidity was until I got to Fiji, and it took it to a whole nother level. And to be honest, I was quite miserable for the first few weeks to a month until I got used to it. My first area was on the western side of Viti Levu, which is the main island. I served in Nandi, and on the western side, it was really hot, really, really hot. More of a dry heat. In Suva on the western side, it's really humid. It rains a lot, so but I think it's pretty much just all the same. It doesn't rain as much on the western side than it does on the eastern side. The people depend what they do for a living. It really depends on what. Really depends. You might have a lot of farmers. A lot of farmers, or you could have people that work in banks or school teachers, truck drivers. You might run a shop. Really not a whole lot different than here, maybe. There's just a wide array of careers and career fields and what people do. These might be done a little differently than over here in the States, but everyone's a hard worker. And it's great. They're really, really great people. See, what else? What else can I tell you? Living. For the most part, I've always lived in apartments throughout my mission. A few times we would share a home with. We'd rent an apartment from a homeowner. I think my first flat, we call them flats. Fiji used to be a British colony, so a lot of the terminology is from England. So flat, apartment. Yeah, a lot of flat living. Lived in a few homes. See what else? Not very Spartan living. Slept on the floor a lot. We would hand wash our clothes, kind of like the old pioneers. You have your scrub board and your brush, and you would spend half your P-Day hand washing your clothes. But the good thing about it, especially on the western side, your clothes would dry within an hour, and so that was kind of nice. But a lot of hand washing, old school scrubbing. Then you would kind of go through your shirts real quickly because it's not kind on your clothes. See what else? The people are awesome. If there's one thing about Fiji that I can relay to all of you, it's that the people are. I think, and every missionary will say this about their mission, that their people are the best, and I think Fijians are the best of the best. I always felt like I was home. I grew up in a small town right outside of New York City, which a lot of money. I get sent to Fiji, which was totally the opposite. But the great thing about the people is that they will give you their best. You always felt like you were at home. Many dinner appointments. Even Monday through whatever day, the family may not be eating the best, but if the elders came, they were always giving you the best that they could give you, which was very humbling coming from where I came from, and I wasn't used to that. You always felt like you had a friend. And it really didn't matter if you even knew the person. You could be walking down the street and someone would say hi, you say hi back, and you engage in this great conversation. And as missionaries, you hope that conversation leads into the gospel, and you can get an appointment from there. Sometimes the people were very nice, even though that even though they may not be interested in the gospel, and they'll invite you over, and they really enjoy your company, and you end up going through the discussions, and everything is going well, and you think this may work out, and then you ask them to be baptized, and they tell you no. That they're happy with their church, but they really love your company, and they want you to come back. But, you're on a mission, you're not on a social call, and, you just might put them down in your binder for maybe the next set of missionaries can contact them sometime down the road, and maybe their hearts have changed, which happened a lot. That happened a whole lot. But it's good. As long as you plant some seed somewhere and you leave a good impression, and it might be 6 months, it might be a year down the road, and they can call back on that memory, the first missionaries that they met, and maybe at that time in their life they're down the road that their heart's ready to accept the gospel. And so you may not have a whole lot of success during that initial meeting, but hopefully you plant a seed that can grow sometime down the road. People are very friendly, and that's one thing that for me, coming from Connecticut, growing up an hour outside of New York City, where people are can be uppity and not as friendly. There were many times that we were walking down the road on a hot day, and we happened to walk past the house, and we might hear someone would call us in. "Hey, brother, come in," because he calls brothers a lot. "Hey, brother, come here, come in. It's hot. Come and get some water or some kind of cold drink." And so we'd go into this individual's house, and we would use that time to introduce ourselves and what we're doing here, and then hopefully we can get a first discussion and set a follow-up appointment. So tracting, I don't even know if they still do tracting nowadays, but when I served in Sacramento on my visa delay, we did a ton of tracting, ton of door knocking, and to be honest, I hated it. It was the worst. That was the worst thing ever, knocking on doors and not having any success. But in Fiji, we never had to knock on any doors, because people would pretty much invite you into their homes. Now, not every time we got invited to a home did it lead to more discussions or even baptism, but at least it planted the seed for down the road, and we could leave a Book of Mormon behind, and hopefully they would, they would read it, and it would, do something to them, It's a great country. You will have fun. You will love it. You will love every minute of it. There might be there will be some challenging times, for sure, but the good times will outweigh those challenging times, for sure. You will probably smile every day of your mission, for sure. And when it's time for you to come home, you will not want to come home. You'll do everything in your power to stay behind, but you'll have to leave eventually. I'm sure every missionary feels that about his mission.